Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando, that's Corey, and today we're doing 1988's Fresh Horses. Before we get started, if you want to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Corey_Idol. And if you want to follow the show, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Kiss the Reviews. Yay.
Hooray.
So let's get into the cast of Fresh Horses, and then we'll dive right into this wonderful story of love and pedophilia. So we'll start with the cast. This film stars Molly Ringwald as Jewel, Andrew McCarthy as Larkin, Patti D'Arbanville as Jean, and Ben Stiller as Tipton.
Don't forget our appearance from our van, Viggo Morgenstein.
Yeah, as Green.
Look, just the description of this movie alone tells you exactly why you've never heard of this movie. And it should have been shelved. The fact that this was free on Tubi,
and that's the only place.
And I can't find Poison Ivy with Drew Barrymore fucking anywhere is ridiculous.
That's fucking criminal.
For real. This is crazy. This movie is dog shit.
Yes.
And I refuse to call Molly Ringwald's character Jewel through this. I'm going to call her Accent. Because honestly, what the fuck?
And I just draw on them like there's a bottle of milk.
Ding dang hoot. That is not a fucking Kentucky accent. I know we like to fuck with people, but come on, you're a professional actor, dude.
Whatever.
Do better, Molly.
That's what Kentuckians sound like to me.
I guess that's what 16-year-old Kentuckians that are married to 34-year-old men sound like.
Crazy fucking things happen to you.
So let's get into this one. So Larkin, played by Andrew McCarthy, is a college student. He's an engineering student in Cincinnati. He's engaged to Alice. And we see them in the opening scene at their engagement party, which is pretty boring and bland, to say the least. There are libraries in Vermont that are less white and boring than this engagement party.
You were right.
P. Diddy's white parties are less white than the fucking engagement party here.
Hoorah!
Larkin's friend Tipton convinces Larkin to go to a quote-unquote party at some backwoods home in Kentucky one night. And while getting Tipton a beer, Larkin meets Jewel. And I have a don't do that for this whole interaction here.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, party goers. If you find yourself at any function with a group of people, or just a few, like there are in this house, and you're in the partying mood, and I want to get a drink, don't do what Larkin does here and ask if you can have a sip of that person's soda. That's gross.
Would you mind if I could have a sip of your soda?
And also, don't fold clothes like Molly Ringwald folds clothes during this scene. She folds clothes like a goddamn rabid squirrel. I've never met a single person on the planet, even somebody who doesn't know how to actually fold like t-shirts and shit. Mm-hmm. She might as well just go, the laundry's done, and dump it on the floor.
Oh yeah, and coincidentally, rabid squirrel is what she ate for dinner the night before.
Facts.
This is my impression, and Larkin here is very lucky that it is bourbon in there and he ends up spitting it out the way he does. Because if you're trying to mac on anyone and your first move is to take a drink of soda, this is how that really goes. Can I have a drink of your soda? So my mouth is fucking sticky as shit. Do you have water? I can't fucking talk to you right now. That's how that really goes. Nobody that's thirsty goes, I want a cola.
Yeah.
Clean your mouth out before you hit on somebody.
Yeah, or I don't know, the fridge is right there. Your friend just asked you to get a beer. Just grab 2 beers. That solves all the issues here.
You're right again.
Whatever line you want to come up with is better than "Can I have a drink of your soda?" That's just fucking nasty.
Given the fact you're in Kentucky, the line you probably should go with is, "Hi, I'm your brother."
Hell yes.
So over the next few weeks or so, Larkin and Jewel hang out, they develop feelings for each other, and Larkin has an affair with her. And FYI, on this whole affair and scene, I'd want to have an affair too, and also get a new friend group if I showed up to a football game tailgate like the one they have here. You have celery and breadsticks and champagne. Like, this is worse than the opening scene party. What? Fuck Alice, his fiancée, and fuck all his friends. They are the most, like, posh assholes on the planet.
I've been to Harvard football games that don't have this shit, and I have absolutely been to University of Cincinnati football games, and those tailgates are not like that.
No, if you show up to UC tailgate with that bullshit that they brought, you'll get your ass kicked.
Oh yeah, you're gonna hear, "Get butt naked, son." Butt naked now.
Hell yes.
This is what boggles my mind. And you know what? We're just gonna do this.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, would-be pedophiles. Uncle Corey here. If the 16-year-old girl that you're flirting with is complaining that her stepfather is being, a little persistent again and came home drunk and crawled into bed with her and put his arm around her, and that's why she's hiding out at fucking Ghislaine Maxwell's house right now, maybe pump your boner brakes, dude, because that is not the time to get horned up. And that's exactly what he's like, "Oh, fuck yeah, tell me more." Like, dude, slow down, Ken Kniff. This is not okay. She is being molested at home.
Yes.
And she's married.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Now I'll give him a break here because he doesn't know she's married or that she's 16 at this point. And so here's the thing, because the next scene is Tipton taking Larkin to White Castle for some sliders and shit. And he tells him here that he found out that Jewel's married. She's also 16. And Larkin's response is, "If it's true or not, it doesn't matter because I'm crazy about her." FYI, pal, it does matter. If she's, I know maybe in Kentucky it doesn't matter, but just overall, it kind of fucking matters that she's 16 and you're 21.
Yeah, I feel at this point like we're watching Jeffrey Epstein's origin story. And I don't need to see it.
Before he becomes a part of the F-Men. Like, that's
the pedo boys are back in town.
That's new coming to fucking Amazon.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
So I know you were ripping on him before, like, "Oh, if she's 16, like he didn't know then." But Tipton tells him here, and then he's like, "I don't care because I'm crazy about her." But then he goes to her, and they have this fight about, is she married? Are you 16? She never admits that she's 16. Like, ever. The only people that are saying that she's 16 are Tipton and their other friend Sproles, who both of them, I wouldn't necessarily take their word for it. They're not the most, like, if they tell me something, I got to go to my Google machine. I'm reading a book to make sure the facts that they're giving me are correct.
Right. Well, no, you're 100% correct. But at the end of the day, when we start tallying up the lies told in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Accents it's a fucking laundry list of lies, dude. This chick is batshit crazy.
Larkin then has Tipton take him to Tipton's lawyer cousin to ask him about getting Jewel an annulment. And after Tipton makes some comment about getting a new horse or a new nag or whatever the hell, Larkin jacks him against the wall and he leaves with Jewel.
For fans of the OC, you'll understand this.
Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi, Ryan Atwoods at the world with savior complexes. If you're taking it upon yourself to get an annulment for your would-be, I don't know, girlfriend, have her go into the room with you with the lawyer. This isn't the 1800s. She has rights, and this directly affects her more than it affects you. And if I'm accent in this position, I'm like, yo, every man I know is a controlling psychopath. This guy's a fucking dickhead, just in a different way than Green is.
Yes, absolutely.
This is crazy. This is like a presidential campaign. You got fucking dipshits on the right, and you got fucking elitist cocksuckers on the fucking left, and all of them are just fucking trying to control everybody.
Some kind of mess, isn't it?
So I have a couple of questions here because they keep talking about an annulment. You go to a lawyer for a divorce, and he even asks him, like, is she Catholic? And he's like, fucked if I know. Like, an annulment, that's a church thing. Am I wrong in thinking that? You can't just have a lawyer draw up annulment papers. Just you go to the church for that.
No, you used to. You used to. I understand. Is this where you're a minority again and you don't understand how the modern world works?
No, I've never had a divorce or an annulment, so I don't know how that works.
You have never even lived. Jesus Christ. Let me school you, son. Yeah, and an annulment can be brought up on fucking LegalZoom. How do I know? Been there, done that.
Okay.
It's very easy. An annulment at this point in time is basically where both parties are like, look, I don't have shit. You don't have shit. You don't like me. I don't like you. Let's just get the fuck out of here.
Potato.
Potato.
Tomato.
Tomato. Let's call the whole thing off.
We've said it a million times. We don't do research, so I did none. You just have practical experience with it, so that's why I gave it to you.
I'm Armando. I have stable relationships in my life. I'm comfortable in my own skin and know who I am so I can relate to other people.
After Larkin then gets kicked out of his house or he just leaves home, that whole scene is weird, but he and Jewel then go to this abandoned railroad depot that she showed him earlier, and he just stays there with her. And one thing I noticed about the abandoned railroad mechanics shack that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
So they're laying down because, you know, he brings a sleeping bag for them to sleep because he wants to pretend that he's a poor, right? Yeah. So he brings this sleeping bag so he can pretend that he's a poor. They're laying down. Did you notice the overdubbed kissing sounds?
Yeah.
Sounds like me eating chop suey.
Pretty much.
Dude, no, I actually did miss that because I was busy looking for a working toilet or shower. This isn't fucking fantasy camp, asshole. What are you doing? She's used to shitting in the woods and doing that kind of hobo shit. You're not. She's gonna survive. She can eat fucking 3-day-old roadkill raccoon. No problem. She's fine. You're gonna get rabies and be feral inside of fucking 48 hours?
100%. She's eating those. There's plenty of food out there. There's those 3 or 4 raccoons that are eating all the trash outside the fucking place. She'll be just fine.
I give him an hour in that train depot before he's like, Mom, meatloaf now.
Later, Larkin meets Tipton and their friend Sproles, where Sproles talks to Larkin about Jewel, her husband Green, and how she's manipulating Larkin because he's a rich and she's a poor. And it's funny because, like, this whole movie up to this point, he's like, I don't care that she's 16. I don't care that she's married. And then right after this scene, he's like, she's manipulating me. Well, I don't like the sound of that. So he breaks it off with her by giving her an envelope full of cash and then taking all his shit out of the shanty that they were living in.
This guy is going to be the greatest congressman that ever existed.
Well, here's the thing. He breaks up with people in the worst possible way. Earlier in the movie, he breaks off his engagement with Alice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to her home where she lives with her parents and breaks it off in her bedroom. She loses her shit and goes running out the thing. First of all, secondary location, pal. Go to a public place where she's going to feel uncomfortable. And I don't care if it's the guy breaking it off, the girl, public place, okay? Because that way you get a nice clean break. And then you don't have to traipse through her parents' house as her dad probably is beating you over the head with a fucking tire iron because you just broke his daughter's heart. Like, and then he gives her cash here. Hey, sorry, you're a poor. I can't see you anymore. Here's an envelope full of cash. What are you, the mafia? What the fuck is going on here?
Well, when they finally do see each other later, he even says, like, did you get the money? And she's like, yeah, I did, thanks. And I don't know if it was meant to be sarcastic and she just couldn't do it with the accent, but it sounded like she was genuinely thanking him for the money.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I got it, thanks. We had an agreement. I was your whore.
Well, and after he breaks up with her, she goes and dates Johnny Moxon. So she was just fine.
Yes, she was.
Larkin and Tipton then go to a party with some girls that they know at one of their rich parents' houses, and they have a good old time, and they're dancing on the pool bar and yada yada. And after the night starts to wind down, Larkin comes up with a brilliant idea and suggests a different venue. So he takes his rich, snooty friends to the train shack to roast marshmallows in like the iron oven shit that they have. But this, I don't get at all. And I don't get why you go there. And again, Jewel even says like, oh, was it to throw it in my face? And yeah, probably. But also, that's fine if that's his motivation. When his friends, and he's like, hey, there's this cool place I want to show you. Even if he doesn't tell them about it, the minute they pull up, and we're literally in the backwoods of Kentucky now, next to a railroad, and it's this dilapidated fucking shack. And he's like, no. It's totally cool inside. I know we just came from the indoor pool with a bar built into the pool, but let's just hang out in the old dilapidated shack. His friends would be like, suck a dick. You can fuck right off with this bullshit.
Hell yes.
This is what boggled my mind was one of the women he's at the pool with is throwing herself at him. Like, I'm so glad you dumped Alice. She was a fucking drip or whatever white women said back then. She was a pill. She was a drip. I don't know what they said. But anyway, she goes on to basically say, like, you know, she's DTF. She's ready to go. And he even says, like, I'm on the rebound, lady. And she's like, fucking dope.
She goes, I don't care.
I don't give a shit.
That is the point where you actually go, I have an idea, guys. Her and I are going to a secondary location.
Yes.
Fuck all of you. I'm out.
100%.
You don't go, hey, everybody. She said she wants to fuck me. Let's go roast marshmallows. Yeah. That's not how it works in the real life. And by the way, in real life, if that whole situation played out the same way, that woman is going, nah, I'm good, homie.
Yeah.
I thought you were somebody completely different. Yeah. I'm going to go look for, you know, a man.
You want to get fucking taken out by a hobo somewhere. Like,
yeah. You're
I'm good.
You're acting an awful lot like a guy that fucks 16-year-olds.
And poor ones.
You want to go roast marshmallows instead of drinking by the pool?
So Jewel then shows up here. She sits for a minute. She tells some of her backwoods stories about how hillbillies treat their kids like shit and how they let some of them smoke as infants. And then Jewel and Larkin go outside to talk, where she tells them that she needs her car to take Green the annulment papers. And the next morning, Larkin finds out that Green and his friends, including Sproles, raped Jewel outside of a bar the night before. And as he's finding out the story, he decides, instead of listening to her, because she's obviously upset, he instead decides to do two things. One, correct her grammar.
And he come over to my car.
He came over. He didn't come over. It already happened. He came over.
And then two, he asks if everyone is going to have a different story. Hey, Larkin, I don't know if you know how rapes work, but yes, everybody's going to have a different story, you fucking Momo. What fucking fantasy world are you living in?
Hey, Green, did you rape your wife and have other guys rape your wife for money? Well, yeah.
I mean, totally.
It's Kentucky. Believe women, bro. Now, this... we got to actually go all the way back to when Accent walks in and gives the story about how fucking her parents used to hold cigarettes underneath her fucking nose and the smoke, and she was damn near addicted by the time she was 2.
Oh, she took a drag off it like it was a nipple.
Uh-huh.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, parents. Uncle Corey here. One, if you do that, your kid is going to have a tracheotomy and severe emphysema at best by probably 3. So, also don't do that. But more importantly, if you do choose to do this to your child, they will turn out ginger.
Yes, 100%.
You don't want that, homie.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
Leave the baby alone. Let him come out like a natural human being.
Yeah. Brown hair, black hair. You know.
You're one step away from an albino. But no, and then my secondary point of caution here would also be, she comes and says, hey, I want the car. And he goes, oh, I'm sure you do. No, I'm good. And then she's like, but it's for the annulment. Oh, okay. Here you go. I'm a fucking stupid idiot. Here's my fucking... I'm like watching this like, are you fucking crazy? You are so getting played. And then I don't even blame him when she's like, the next day, which, by the way, my first question isn't like, where you been? What happened? It's, where's my fucking car?
100%.
Where the fuck is my car?
When he's walking up to the house and she's driving her mom or whatever, like in another car, that was literally the first question I had. And, you know, I haven't seen this movie, so I didn't know that she was raped the night before. So I wasn't like, oh, fuck the car. Like, what happened? I'm seeing her drive the car and I'm like, where the fuck is his car?
You were right.
And then she, like, when she gets trapped, that's when she goes into her story about what Green did and all the friends and money.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there the whole time, and I am all about believe women, but I'm sitting there going, you don't look or act like that happened. And I'm not saying there's one particular way, but there is nary a bruise. She says she got bruised up.
Yeah.
Show me a bruise.
Well,
because your face is fucking immaculate.
Here's the other thing, because
have you ever seen somebody that's been crying all night?
Yeah.
That's not what they look like.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing, because before this, Andrew McCarthy gets his ass beat at Jean's house, you know, that they party at in the backwoods and whatever. And he gets into a fight because one of the dudes there says, I'll offer you $50 so I could bang your girl Jewel over here.
Yeah.
And then he gets into a fight and he can't fight and he gets his ass kicked. But she literally, and she finds out about that. Mm-hmm. And then when she tells the story, she's like, he was charging $50. $50. It's the same story. So that's the only thing that I was like, it sounds really, really like too familiar. Like, I don't think all these hillbillies are like, I'll give you $50 to see your titties. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
They don't have they're all poor. They don't have $5, let alone 50.
Well, I'm going to go a step further and say, well, yes, you are correct. I'm going to go a step further and say most people, whether you are hillbilly, cousin fucker, or otherwise, if you see a woman in the backseat of her car under duress and her shirt and bra being forcibly pulled up and her husband's going, come on, y'all, $50 for some titties, somebody's going to be like, yo,
listen,
are we not going to do something about this?
I know Ohio hillbillies. Okay, I might not know a lot of Kentucky hillbillies, but I know some Ohio hillbillies. They ain't all jumping in on that situation. There's going to be at least a few that are like, guys, the fuck are we doing here? Jump him. Like somebody will just yell, jump him. And that dude gets his ass kicked.
Exactly.
So after this, Larkin goes to Sproles and confronts him about the incident. Larkin then has Sproles take him to Green's house, where Larkin then confronts Green as well.
And if I may jump in very quickly.
Sure.
Corey's life lessons.
I don't even know who this PSA should be for, so we'll just throw it out there and say general PSA. Hi, everyone. Uncle Corey here. If your brother is an undercover cop, stop saying to everyone you fucking know as a point of some sort of bona fides that he is an undercover cop. Because that's really fucking bad for your brother who's an undercover cop.
Yeah.
Second, if you are an undercover cop, don't tell people you're an undercover cop, because inevitably you will tell a Sproles. Whether they're your brother, your cousin, or whatever. This motherfucker is trying to get his brother killed hard as he can, especially considering his brother's taking him to the same place as Green hangs out. And they've been trying to get Green for something for a long time. I'm like, yo, if I'm Andrew McCarthy at this point, I'm like, everyone I know is a lying sociopath.
Absolutely.
Everyone.
The riches, the poors, everybody in between, everybody's lying to me. Like at that point, I graduate from college and then I just move away. I go to fucking, I don't know, Idaho, California, just wherever the fuck is as far away from Ohio and Cincinnati as I possibly can.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what he does. He makes a couple shrewd investments, and him and Ghislaine take their little fucking party onto an island that they buy. And then guess what happens? Nothing good. Nothing good.
He hangs himself later on.
Allegedly.
So here's the other thing. Because he confronts Sproles. Sproles does his little like, I don't know, man. My brother's a cop, whatever. And then they go to Green's house, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, take me, show me where he lives, whatever. So he takes him, tells fucking Sproles to hit the bricks. Like, he's walking back from Kentucky to Cincinnati. I know they're close, but it ain't that fucking close.
No.
But he then walks into Green's house. He knocks on the door. Nobody answers. And he's like, well, fuck, door's unlocked. I'm walking in, bitch. So he walks through Green's house. And I have a don't do that for everybody out there here.
Don't do that. It's not good for you.
Hi, everyone. If you're going to go confront someone at their home, on their turf, and you walk in unannounced, and as you walk through, you see their entire arsenal of weaponry, okay? Guns and knives and all kinds of crazy shit, right? Either strap up or get the fuck out. Don't do what Numbnuts does here, where he goes in and he acts like he's tough. He's like, did you carve all these? Is this a soap elephant? What the fuck is this? And he pops its head off like you used to do with the daisies when you were a kid. And he's like, hey, look at this. I'm crumbling soap. The fuck, bitch? You want some? And then Green steps up and he immediately wants none of it. He's like, oh, fuck. Like, this is the definition of fuck around and find out.
Yeah, like you think you're tough, but then you actually, like, you're not. You're just not.
He's tough around other, like, soft-ass rich folks. He's probably the toughest rich dude out there.
He might be.
But when you meet somebody who's actually tough, you're done. You're done. You're tough until you're not.
My piece of advice would be this. Stop picking fights if your arms look like wet spaghetti noodles.
When did you learn that?
Not it. When did I haven't.
You're just trying to help others. I got you. I got you.
Yeah. I want you to avoid the same heartaches I do. I just learned to run lightning fast.
Jewel here then walks in on this whole situation, and she tells Larkin to hit the bricks. She's done with him. She tells Green she's leaving him, whether he signs the annulment paperwork or not. Scene ends, and then we cut to a year later. Larkin and Jewel have obviously been broken up, but they see each other at some skating rink, and she's there with a guy that she's dating, that she met while she was going back to high school to get her diploma. And they talk for a minute. She gives him a kiss on the cheek, thanks him once again, and then the movie ends as he tears up watching her with her new beau skate on the ice. Dude, listen, at the end of the day, this movie's dog shit. Everything's bad. Everything's bad about it. I don't like it. If somebody out there likes it, good on you. Like, honestly, we don't judge, and we've said it before. We like bad movies. Like, I have some bad movies that are in my rotation, and I know they're bad. So if you like this, good on you. That's fine. You're a big Molly Ringwald fan, or Andrew McCarthy, or whatever, or Ben Stiller. But for me, it's not good. It's not good. Like you said, the accent, although she keeps it through the whole film, isn't great. Better than a lot of accents we've seen in some of these movies. But what was the fucking deal with like the late 80s, maybe all of the 80s, but into the 90s? Because we also had that one piece of shit movie that everybody was in where the dude's in love with like the 13-year-old girl. Like, what was the infatuation? This movie doesn't change if she's 18 or 19. And now you're only like 2 years apart. You know what I mean? The plot of the movie doesn't change because they go, she's 16. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. Okay. Well, apparently nobody gives a fuck because it's never brought up again for the rest of this fucking movie.
Yeah, no, that is a boring subplot to this that only comes back that she's going back to high school, which is like, well, shit. Was she 16?
Yeah.
I don't know any 20-year-old, even in Kentucky, that's like, hey, y'all, we gonna meet on the quad for lunch? Like,
no high school would allow a 20-year-old or a 19-year-old back into high school to go to regular classes again. You just go and get your GED at that point.
Exactly. Which tells me, yeah, she was 16.
Yeah.
Which, again, what the fuck did we just watch? Like like you were saying, the normalization of pedophilia and statutory rape is so weird. And I am not going to be as kind as you are because I think you are being very nice for some strange reason.
It's a total fabrication.
This is objectively a pile of shit. If you like this movie,
I mean,
why? Honestly, why? I like terrible movies, and I will freely admit it. But what the fuck is appealing about this movie? We have had like Urban Cowboy. I get that. I can understand that there's some appeal in that movie.
100%.
Most of the movies that I have shit on, I understand where your appeal is, where there is a draw to that movie for a wide audience. Mm-hmm. I'm just usually an asshole. In this instance, no, dude, this movie is shit.
You were right.
My whole point is like, I get it. I like bad movies. If you like this bad movie, I guess good on you. But again, I don't get it because it's not for me.
Yeah, I don't forgive you if you like this movie. You actually need to explain yourself.
I would like an explanation because I don't know. I don't think it's written well. There's a lot of not necessarily plot holes, just unexplained scenes. Like when he takes her to his house and his dad walks in, and then his dad's like, harumph. And then they're at the the train depot thing that night. It's never explained, like, he got kicked out of the house. He just said, fuck you, dad. And, you know, the dad wasn't like, she's a poor. There was literally no explanation for the scene. And then he's just like, now I'm not living at home. And then he breaks up with her, and then he's sleeping at home. I don't get any of that. Like, I think that was either bad editing, bad writing, bad it was bad something was bad about that. I don't know what it was, but there was a lot of scenes like that.
It was all of it. And no, you hit the nail on the head. That is literally the problem with this movie is you have plots that go nowhere. It's like the fucking Winchester house. You have plots that go nowhere. You have character arcs that just stop halfway up and the character just disappears.
Yeah.
For the rest of the fucking movie. Like, there are so many weird things that happen and we get no kind of resolution to it whatsoever. We don't even, like, last we saw, he wasn't signing shit for annulment papers.
Yeah.
So did he sign them?
Yeah, he
or
just
is she
threw
just
him.
back to playing her game? If you need an underage love story in your life, go see Lolita.
That's
Because
fair.
this is shit.
Yeah, this is
and
garbage.
that at least deals with the Lolita at least deals with how wrong it is that the guy is feeling those feelings, but his infatuation can't allow him to stop.
Yeah.
Where in this, he's just like, who's this? Bourbon drinking 16-year-old? I don't fucking care about anything. She's my world. It's like, wow, fucking from when?
Yeah. Nah,
It's
that's
just nuts.
It is what it is. I told you this before we started recording. I told you this throughout, and I'm going to tell you this now. This movie's trash.
Hell yes.
That's all I got.
This movie gave me COVID.
A few moments later. 2 hours later.
Oh, so good.
Eventually.
Well, on that note, I think we'll end it there. We'll end it on the COVID joke. So, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 1988's Fresh Horses COVID edition.